Right, welcome back to Tales of the PowerAge. How you doing, guys? You good?
All good, mate.
Fantastic.
All good.
Tonight we're going to be talking about ghosts, but before we do that, just want to remind everyone that's watching this evening or has watched us before, please give us a sub. We'd really appreciate that. Ring the house bell. It means loads to us. It really helps us out. It doesn't cost you anything to sub, but what it also does, it reminds you when we've got another exclusive video pod that we do for you. And we do this for you guys. We do it for the love of rock. So that's that bit out of the way. Let's get on to what we're talking about tonight. And we're talking about Ghost and their tour from 2022. And it only feels like yesterday. I can't believe that was 2 years ago. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. So prior to them releasing the album and the single, which we're going to get to in a couple of seconds, we probably got to Ghost a little bit later than many Ghost fans. So we apologise for that. Maybe we were believing some of the press out there. But Gappy, we've got a little WhatsApp group and we do these little things because we're really childish, where we take videos of us playing records and then send the clip over in the group. Anyway, Gaps bought the new album, sent the clip over, and I think we were all astonished by how brilliant it sounded and how we'd never heard it before. So Gaps, do you want to just talk about how you discovered Ghost?
Yeah, so it's mainly through Planet Rock, which used to listen to every day at work. Can't do it anymore, but that's another story. So in 2018, I heard the single Rats played on Planet Rock, and I thought, yeah, that's really good. It's a bit different, like that. But it wasn't until the second single from that was going to be on Prequel, the previous album to this one, called Dance Macabre came out, which that sort of blew me away. And I thought this is really good, really like it. Quite poppy, but very, very pop rocky, and it's right up my street. And it was then I decided that I was going to go and try and see him on that tour. And they kicked off the European leg of the tour with a show at the Royal Albert Hall, bizarrely. And I looked at getting a ticket for that, but it was well over £100. So I thought, nah, I can't. I just can't do it, especially if I was going on my own, because none of you boys were into them at the time. So bin that one off, unfortunately for me. But then with the release of Call Me Little Sunshine, again, listened to that on Planet Rock, and I thought, yeah, well, I've got to pre-order the album now, the new album, Impera. So I did that, and I got my copy. And as Dill was saying, I put it on the chat, and none of the other boys knew I had it. And I played a little clip of Call Me Little Sunshine, the single, and everyone really liked it. And it's sort of been history from there. I think we've all got every bit of vinyl that they've ever put out now, and we're really, really into this band. And we were going to go and see them on the tour in 22. So yeah,
so
immense.
There was a bit of vinyl wars, wasn't there, between us when?
Yeah, it was, absolutely.
There's so many different variants of every record as well. You know, it's really impossible to think you've got everything, and financially impossible as well. So, you know, it's just a matter of getting one of everything to start with, for sure. But it's probably the first time we've all been late to a band party.
Yeah.
Before, you know, and all of us so quickly jump on the bandwagon. I don't think there's any other band where we've done this.
Not all four of us, no.
No, at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
Especially in modern days.
Well, the thing with this one, I know that when Gappy played, when he first said, "I've got this record, it's brilliant," and we were all like, "Oh, good, yeah." Is it the latest one? Is it the latest one from Arch Enemy or Death Destruction from the latest band from Sweden? That, yeah, whatever. We're like, okay. He said, "But no, this is amazing. It's the best. It's superb." Okay. Then he played it, and I went, "Oh." And then I looked and went, "Oh, they're Ghosts. They're sort of the masks and the makeup. I've never been I've never been into any of those sorts of bands." I'm thinking, Slipknot, Kiss. Oh, okay. Occasionally there are ones that have these awesome gimmicks. And I bought the record before I didn't even stream it. I literally bought it, and it came like the next day, and I was like, oh, and I think we were all like that, weren't we? It's just like, great record.
Amazing. So we all got the record. And there was also a single that preceded it, Gav, which I think you've got a copy as well.
Yeah, because it was, I think Tobias was asked to do music for the Halloween film. And so he submitted Hunter's Moon. And so that came out. I think the single version is different from the album version. But
yes, sure.
this is the single, so it's a lovely translucent vinyl.
Yeah, it's cool.
But yeah, it's a nice little collectible. B-side is John Carpenter, who's the director. So yeah, nice little thing. But yeah, I mean, it's probably not my favourite song even on the album because there's so much other good stuff on there.
Yeah,
No, you've always said it doesn't really fit on the album. Whereas I love that song. I think it's excellent.
You know, I've always slagged it. I always hated it. I always said to you guys, you said, "Oh, it's great." I said, I just don't like it. Whereas the thing is, I was listening to it the other day and I've started liking it. It's just like the chorus I don't like. Everything else about it is brilliant, but it's just got an annoying chorus. But the rest of it's good build up. It's really strong, and it's like just the chorus. But that's hit singles for you, I suppose.
Okay, cool. That's the single. So let's go on to the album. So let's come to Jam first, because we all got the album at a similar time. So
Yeah.
do you want to have a talk through the first track?
The first track, I just think it's a really great first track. It's a real. I always struggle with labeling different music, and I know there's been lots of talk about Ghost. Oh, they're not. I know a lot of Ghost fans that say they're not a metal band. Well, you've got 4 complete metalheads on here that love this band.
Yeah.
So there is something metal about them. They definitely fit in the metal genre, whatever the hell you want to call it. But because this first track, it's got a really proggy feel. And I think it's one that Gav, it's the kind of track I imagine that you would like, Gav. It's got this real, and Gav's. It's, you know what I mean? It's got this real proggy feel. So take it. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it does the whole Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning, doesn't it? As far as it's got the intro thing to kind of lure you in, and then you know you can only imagine that might be what they do live, which we were later to find out that's exactly what they do live. And yeah, the track Kaiserian, just I love everything about it. I love the riffing, the straight riffing at the beginning. And in fact, when the album came out, they did a kind of a promo video of like 3 or 4 songs played live. And to see it's slightly heavier than the album, and to see them actually riffing that fast with the old right hand, our mate, which we'll probably go on to mention. That song is just so good, and it's got some really weird proggy stuff, like you say, going into the middle 8 and
in the middle 8, it has,
and some odd time changes and rhythm changes and stuff, and it's just layered class upon class, and you know, ideas upon ideas. It blew me away. I mean, that song is a real highlight on the album for me.
And the drumming's to die for, as I'm sure you'll agree.
Absolutely, it's a hell of an album to play drums to. It's quite challenging because even though they sound on the surface of it, you might think they're kind of straightforward. A lot of the songs, most of them have something kind of really difficult to play in there.
There's lots of little offbeat hits on the. It's very, very, very well done.
And that's no exception. That song, it's got some real cool bits in it. And you know, before we go too far through the album, the production is to me, it's one of my favorite productions on any album ever.
Yeah,
everything sounds great. The guitars sound great. The bass is really up in the mix, which I love, and the drum tone is amazing too. I guess unlike some bands, the vocals are probably slightly less important, and I know it's kind of a controversial thing to say, but he's not like a singer's singer. He gets the message across, and he's got his persona, and the lyrics are brilliant. But maybe that gives more room for everything else to come through. I don't know how they do it, but the production is fantastic.
Great. I think they sound, and I know, Jan, we talked about this, there's a touch of Whitesnake in there in parts, but also a touch of Genesis as well, which is mad. You know, it's a real mix, an eclectic mix, but it does work. So let's go on to the next 2 songs on the album. So Spillways and Call Me Little Sunshine. So Gaps, do you want to kick off with those?
Well, when I first heard Spillways, I instantly thought of ABBA, and I think a lot of people have with the way the music comes out at you in that one. But it's a brilliant track. Well, every single song on this album blew me away when I first heard it, but that's what's still one of the favourites. But the single "Call Me Little Sunshine" is the slow build up, and it's just so good when the drums come in and the guitars. It's absolutely fantastic song.
Spillways. I couldn't agree more. The ABBA, it sounds weird when you're talking about metal. A sweeping statement here. Unpopular opinion. I don't like keyboards when it comes to metal. Of course I don't. I hate ballads and I hate keyboards. However, you can then throw songs at me like Spillways and I'll say, yeah, it's absolutely brilliant and it fits perfectly. So yeah, that's how it is. And it does. It sounds brilliant and it fits perfectly. And if I'm going to play anyone a song that I say, oh, you'd love Ghost, they say, oh, would I? I'll put this on. I'll say, how can you not like this? And why aren't you moving to it's amazing. The keyboards sound brilliant. It fits perfectly, the whole thing. It's got the greatest chorus. It's just superb.
Yeah.
And it's got and you need to listen to this at the time to listen, but for me it's got a Bon Jovi type, so I should say Richie Sambora type guitar solo and ending to the song. It's a pure, unadulterated hit single, and it smashes it out of the park. It's amazing.
I think it's the third chorus where they break it down, and the chorus just carries on as it is, but the band do the breakdown bit. It's genius, absolute genius.
It's so smart. It's so clever.
And obviously, Joe Elliott loved the song too.
He did, yeah. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. So that's really interesting too. I'm guessing from memory, this was released in about March. The album 2022.
22.
And the reason,
11th of March 22.
Well, I know I treated myself to a new turntable and speakers. And that was the first record I played on it. And I was so pleased with it. I just sounded amazing.
Yeah.
I'm playing Call Me Little Sunshine. Oh, God. Goose pimples. So pleased to have a proper stereo again. Playing your vinyl is just...
Yeah, the bass at the beginning of that. Oh,
it just sounds absolutely phenomenal. And then, of course, then you're on YouTube at night checking out all the videos and stuff. And to your point, Gaps, going back to Dance Macabre and Rats, they're great videos, aren't they, as well? It's just
the videos are amazing, especially Dance Macabre. What a video that is. Brilliant.
I love it.
Okay. Call Me Little Sunshine.
Yeah, go on.
Call Me Little Sunshine. Again, I've just been spilling about Spillways, how awesome it is. For me, Call Me Little Sunshine is the other. It's very, very different to Spillways in the makeup of the song. But it's outstanding. It's brilliant. It's a little bit slower, and the way that the way the album's formed and how they put the songs, the order they play the songs in, to have Spillways as it is, to open up with Kassarian and then Spillways, Call Me Little Sunshine is fitted in there so well.
So let's move on to Hunter's Moon, which we've already touched on with a single, and Watcher in the Sky. So Jam, I'll come to you first, if that's all right, and these two.
I've sort of had my say on Hunter's Moon, as you say already. Wasn't a favourite, but it just annoyed me. But Watcher in the Sky, absolutely love. It's got a Bad Boys by is it Bad Boys by Whitesnake? It's got a real Whitesnake feel, real heavy guitar, really great song, really fast, really like it.
Interesting, yeah.
Okay,
this two side by side, that is brilliant.
Brilliant, Duffy.
Yeah, it's probably the heaviest guitars we hear on side one in Watcher in the Sky, and it's a brilliant way to end side one. Can't really say much more about it. I mean, what can you say about all these songs? There's a lot of little guitar bits in there, a lot of bit of offbeat stuff that the drummers and the guitar player and the bass player do. And as Gav's mentioned before, the bass is so high in the mix, and there's a couple of great bits of bass in that song, which really float my boat being a bass player. So yeah, really love that one.
Okay, cool.
My only criticism for that song is I love the beginning, I love the riffing, but it goes on a bit towards the end. There's lots of choruses, one after the other, isn't there, at the end?
Yeah, that is true, but doesn't detract for me. I think it's a great way to end the album, that side.
Yeah, when you put it in the context of it being the end of side one, that makes sense. And then
might be a bit different on CD when you go, when it's obviously there is no end to side one, but us all being vinyl freaks, that's good. It's perfect.
And then similarly, they thought about it because there's another instrumental to lead into side two.
Yeah.
Okay, good catch. Yeah, Watcher in the Sky. I mean, look, it's brilliant, isn't it? A great riff, and we've already touched on Hunter's Moon. Watcher in the Sky, really, again, one of the songs that really blew me away very quickly. It's easy to tap your foot to straight away, and if you like rock, it sounds brilliant in the car. It's a great driving song, I think. Watcher in the Sky.
Yeah,
So,
and the riffing with the double bass drumming, that pattern that they do, and it just gets more and more elaborate as it goes on.
Yeah.
Really clever. Yeah.
it's brilliant. Okay, well, let's go to side 2 for the vinyl nuts out there, and that kicks off with Dominion. So, and 20s. So, Gaps, has come to you on those two initially.
Well, it's a nice little introduction again. I love a little bit of an intro with instrumental at the beginning of side 1 and side 2. And then we go into 20s, which is probably the most divisive song amongst us, I suppose, on this chat. I know Jan doesn't like it really.
No, it's just
we get a bit of swearing in it, so that always floats my boat. And he does it so well as it's absolutely brilliant.
It's funny, and it's kind of
the little Mother Hubbard that he chucks in there. Very, very good. So yes, again, I like it, but for me, it's a lead in to the rest of the songs on that side, which are great. The rest of side 2 is unsurpassed. It's brilliant.
I remember we had a conversation about it when we first got the album, Gaps, and I said I didn't like it, and you railed against me in your normal passionate manner. And I went back to listen to it, and I realised it's only really the chorus I don't like. The rest of it is bloody brilliant. The hard riffing and the complicated patterns and stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. It's the heaviest song on the album, I reckon. But the chorus is a bit silly.
Jan?
I haven't seen past the chorus yet on 20s.
Yeah, go back.
It grates. That's how it is. If I've got a choice and I want to listen to that one and listen to a different song, I'm still at the position where I'm going to listen to a different song. So, yeah.
Jan, we'll stay with you for Darkness and Griftwood. So, anything?
I adore Griftwood.
Yeah, Griftwood's amazing.
I've just stepped over Darkness. It's a bit of a ballad, isn't it? Would you say it's a ballad?
Ish.
Yeah, dark.
It certainly is. It's the most ballady one on the record.
Yeah, so it's enough of a ballad for me to say it's a ballad. It's not my favourite track. Basically, it's got lots of love and stuff in it. Not a fan of that lately. So yeah, whatever.
So side 2 doesn't start very well for you, then, does it? Really?
No, it doesn't. But Griftwood is absolutely immense. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's the one that I would put up there. Spillways and Griftwood are the 2 great pop rock songs.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I mean that as a complete. When I say pop, I don't mean that as a bad thing. That's fantastic. It's totally accessible and it's great sing-along tracks. Brilliant live, obviously. The whole room, the whole arena, stadium, whatever, is going to go crazy for that. And it's really, really great, really, really catchy. But yeah, so out of those 2, I love Griffith.
Brilliant. Gav, any thoughts on those 2?
Yeah, I stand apart on this one. I love Darkness. It's brilliant. I love the kind of feel of it and the darkness of it, really, obviously. And the fact, I know that people have used it at weddings and things, and it's really kind of twisted. It's great, and the kind of there's more swears in the whispering, and which you have to get on the 3rd or 4th listen. But yeah, no, I think it's a really well crafted song, apart from anything else. But I love the kind of twistedness of the lyrics as well.
That's an interesting one, using it at weddings. I've not heard that. That would have been
me either.
From the Foreigner they had at my one.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you imagine the kind of into this scene, it'd be brilliant to mess with people's minds.
Yeah.
And there's a massive scene around Ghost, as we all know. And they've got so many levels to it. The satanic aspect to it, and the dressing up aspect to it, and the stage show, and the lore, which is all well curated by the band or by Tobias.
Fun, isn't it?
None of this is by accident, is it?
No.
The guy's a genius.
This might be the right time. I did mention earlier. I did mention Kiss, Slipknot, and now might be the right time because I don't know another band, maybe Kiss, with the merch, the t-shirts. I mean, I've got 3.
There's literally hundreds of t-shirts.
Yeah,
I've got 3 of their t-shirts. I've only seen them once live, but I've got 3 of their t-shirts.
Yeah, I've got 2.
Some of the designs are fantastic. I mean, I'd love to. If anyone, there's going to be some guys watching this that are going to have 20, 30, 40. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments. Just share with us in the comments. share with us what you've got, because there's some amazing merch out there. It's just, I mean, as you said, we've got all the records, all the 12 inches and all the records, the EPs. But yeah, there's some amazing t-shirts out there and other paraphernalia.
Okay.
Amazingly expensive as well, as I recall at the gig.
But you can
horrific.
Talk about that later.
You can get them for a reasonable price. If you keep onto their website, they do come back. You can get them for 10 or 15 quid a t-shirt. Yeah. There are some interesting items of clothing as well, which I'm sure we'll mention a little bit later.
They also had the most expensive t-shirts at Download last year by a tenner.
Even more
10 more than everybody else's.
Wow,
which was bizarre.
That's confidence for you. And we didn't see them. We went on what day did we go? Gaps, was it
Thursday?
The reviews that they got from Download were incredible, and everyone that saw them said they were one of the best bands of the weekend, if not the best. So again, that's great. Great kudos to them. Gaps, anything else you want to say about Darkness or Griffwood before we move on to Bite?
No, I just love them both.
Okay.
Like Gav says, Darkness is it's one out of the blue on this album. Really, it takes you to places that the rest of the songs on this album don't really take you to. It's very melancholy, and it's just great. But Griffwood is just, like Jam said, it's just another pop rock masterpiece. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay,
well, let's get into the last tune. Gaps, you stay on. I know one of your favourite tunes in this last two. So do you want to talk about Bite and the rest of it?
Well, I sort of go past Bite, really, because I'm so looking forward. Griffwood's just finished, and I'm looking forward to the start of Respite on the Spittlefields, which is another very strange song to end the album. But so I'll just go on to that one. Someone else can talk about Bite a little bit. But when I first heard Respite on the Spittlefields, it's slow moving and it just goes, and it's really the end that does it for me. When it actually reprises the beginning of the record with Imperium coming back in.
I was going to mention
absolutely love a reprise on an album. It just gets me every time. It's so well done. It's absolutely brilliant.
It's kind of emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely. The words fail me on how good that song is, to be honest with you.
Okay, Gab, sorry, go on, Jam. You go.
It almost makes you feel a little bit like, I mean, if you think this is crazy, but Styx and the Paradise.
Yeah, that's
the Paradise album.
Yeah.
Which does a similar thing. It's almost haunting. It's the way it's like, right, you've had the album. We're now coming towards the end. Hope you've liked. Do you know? I hope you've liked it. I love this, the way it ends. I think it's a great end to the album. And again, I know I keep making comparisons, but Still of the Night by Whitesnake has got Still of the Night by Whitesnake has got a real vibe through it, and I really love that track, live and studio version. And this really does sound. It's got the same vibe. It's not that it sounds similar. It's got the same vibe, which is a superb 80s, early 90s like rock vibe. And if that's what he was going for with this, he hit the nail on the head. And it's really great. It really does bookend the album, like you said there. To have this at the end and the sound of this, it's not running out of juice. This album, when it ends, you just want more.
Not at all. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, there is a bit that's very similar to Still of the Night. You know, the kind of orchestral. That's very that's very true.
So it's so like it, but. Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I've said a couple of things about a couple of the tracks where I said, I just don't like them as much as the others. Overall, as an album, I think it's an absolute banger. Yeah. This record made me go out and buy all their other records and 12
Indeed,
inches.
and me. Yeah.
And me.
Yeah.
I immediately put it into my top 10 albums of all time. it's still there.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. I mean, top 10 might be a stretch, but it's not far off.
I'd argue with that all day long, but it's a great album. I don't know if it's top.
I think they'll struggle. They're going to struggle to beat it because it's so strong.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he's a genius, so I think we might find that the next one's going to be just as good. To be fair,
the next time we interact with them, we'll be in a cinema.
But you think it's better than this? You think it's better than this one? Then?
Yeah, I think it's better than that one.
Yeah, I do too.
Anyway, a little bit. So if you've not watched Ghosts before, or if you've not heard of Ghosts before, I'd really encourage you to put your earphones on, put YouTube on, close all the curtains, and just watch. They are great fun. They're a really brilliant, well thought out rock band. And as I think as Gav's alluded to, and Jeremy have alluded to, the whole makeup piece, the persona, the story behind it, it's really well thought out, and it is absolutely great fun. So this is quite unusual for us, as we've already mentioned, that we all cottoned on to the band at a similar time, albeit Gappy a little bit earlier. And we got the album. We were going backwards and forwards on WhatsApp, saying it's brilliant, it's amazing. And I'd seen that they were actually playing the O2. So then I was on a bit of a mission to try and get everyone to go. And Gappy and I decided to go. And then it was really lastminute.com. You guys had got the tickets, I think, the weekend. It was the Tuesday or Monday night from memory. And you guys...
Very last minute, yeah.
But look at those handsome chaps there in the blue room, in the VIP lounge, living the dream.
Could be worse.
I just want to mention one thing about this, and O2 gets some stick, and we talked about in a recent pod, Wembley Arena, how expensive the drinks were. Do you know what? When you go to the blue room and it's nice, and you're actually in a really good environment, nice comfortable seats, screens, music, it's fantastic. I can't remember what the drinks were because actually I was enjoying the experience. Whereas you're standing on a bit of concrete, you've been pushed around in Wembley Arena, and instantly you think, this is third, fourth rate. Actually, it was brilliant in terms of where we were in the view. I like that. Maybe it's because we're all getting a bit older. But anyway, suffice to say, we all got a ticket, and there's his ticket there. So, and yes, that is unusual, but we had to transfer it, Gaps, didn't you? So if you're looking to get a ticket from the O2, buy a couple, transfer them to someone else, and they have to go and print the ticket out.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Cool. Yeah,
So
that's why I haven't got one.
So there we are. Anything else from you guys on this one before we kick into?
Just the fact that you two guys had standing, so you were on the floor. And Gav and I, we actually got tickets. It was either the night before, it might have been the morning of the gig. We were definitely going to go. We were just waiting to see what came up. I think I got them on Twickets, which is a fantastic site for getting the tickets when some can't go to a gig. So Twickets is great. So we got our tickets from Twickets. And we were lower tier at the O2. I'm not a fan of the upper tier, but lower tier, but opposite the stage. So between us, between Gaps and Dill being down on the floor and us two being at the back, able to watch it stage on, we got some great shots. And we really, I mean, I if I'm going to watch a gig from a seat, I like to be looking at the stage face on. And we got the full effects of the stage show. And
it was a brilliant view. I mean, that every photo you see is one of ours. And some of them are really, good, but it's only a testament to how good the show was. That point and press, you're going to get a good photo, really.
So before we move into a few of the photos, which we've got there, and we're right, these are photos that we've all taken. My particular favourite, apart from these ones, is obviously the one of us in the bar. I think it's fantastic. Well done, Gav, for touching that up as well. He did a really good job. Not airbrushed in the slightest. Anyway, Gav, do you want to take us through these couple of photos?
Yeah, this first set, the first one on the left is the very beginning of the show. There's the standard mandatory white curtain with a silhouette of the guitarist starting off the song, Kaisarian. And I hoped it might be that because it lends itself so perfectly to that. And and then they pile in. And I think at like 2 or 3 points in the show, there's confetti and various other stuff flying down over the crowd to make the cleaners curse in the morning. But I don't know if we've got another one here. No, straight to the set list. So they started the set exactly as we wanted them to, and then launched straight into Rats, which everybody knew obviously, and the crowd were going mad.
Mary on a Cross, that really stood out. Right? That was banging. And I remember, Gaps, we were stood together, weren't you? And you were getting quite emotional, but how brilliant it was.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was going to mention the fact that I did have a little bit of a tear in my eye, but that wasn't until later when they played "He Is," which is is welling up just thinking about that song now. It's just amazing.
Yeah. But that was this was Mary on a Cross before it was TikToked, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, it was still ours.
Yeah, it was all over TikTok, and it was funny because my kids were going, "Where did you? How? What? Where did you get that? I said, oh, this is Ghost. I
How
know.
do you know this?
Yeah. How do you know that? No, so
Yeah.
I was down with the kids for a couple of months on that one.
Ceriso, what a song. That
Yeah.
starts like a Slayer song. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Brilliant video to that as well. Yeah, they did the whole guitar duel thing, which I don't know if they still do now, but it was kind of very much on the personalities, I felt, of the two guys.
Yeah,
that were doing
absolutely.
the guitar duel.
Yeah.
You know, one of the most exciting things for me on a personal level was knowing that the guy on the left was English. And you know, he'd been in similar circles to the bands that I loved, you know, the Ginger Wildheart and Eureka Machines we're all into, we've all seen, you know, and there he was.
Yeah.
There he was.
That was a big thing for us when we realised there's this band. Yeah, Chris Catalyst. When we realised, I know Gap's not loved Eureka Machines, and we saw them a couple of times a few years ago down the borderline.
I actually saw him on my stag night.
I was trying to think who's stag night for your stag. Borderline Club, which has gone now, unfortunately. Great night, and yeah, there's videos on YouTube, and that's hilarious. But we've had some great nights with that guy playing live, and then for him to be playing for this massive, is that his guitar sort of thing? Oh, okay. Then it was around that time it became a bit clearer who some of the.
And even though you couldn't see him, you could see his personality. Through the mask.
Yeah, I think, you know, they may have lost something a little bit there, the personality shining through, but that might just be because I'm completely biased. But yeah, I knew that they'd done something earlier on in the tour when they're doing the little guitar duel, and they started doing, and it turned out they did. Chris did a little tribute to every town. So in Manchester, he did Cigarettes and Alcohol by Oasis. Obviously, in London, he did London Calling. In Birmingham, he did Iron Man. In Glasgow, he did Scotland the Brave. So, you know, little touches like that, you're going to get the crowd on side, aren't they? You know,
absolutely.
It's a good shout.
It was really entertaining.
And don't forget, obviously, the Pope coming on with the saxophone. Who could forget that?
Yeah.
Call Me Little Sunshine, where he had the big Pope's hat on with all the sort of, it was like costume jewelry on the shining lights. So it was fantastic. Brilliant, didn't it?
Loads of costume changes.
Yeah.
If you've never seen them, the show is just pure theatre. It's one of the best theatrical gigs I've ever been to.
So
it's
it's
all of them. Even the backing singers and the keyboard player, everyone's going completely berserk, and it's absolutely brilliant to watch. And you don't know really what to watch because there's 9 of them there's 10 of them on stage at one point. So it's it's fantastic stuff.
When it's backed up with the level, we caught them at a great time, and it was a great record. But when it added, that record, in my opinion, added so much to what they already had. But when I look at the highlights for me there, you've mentioned Cerise, but also Faith is one of my favourite tracks. Is Faith? I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But Faith going into Spillways, just ridiculous. There's so many great tracks that's actually not only they had a different vibe almost for every song, didn't they? The lights they
definitely
put on show every song, which isn't something. I recently saw Enter Shikari at Wembley Arena, and they did a similar thing where every song seemed to have a production of its own, and you're like, how can this band do that? And every now and then you stumble across a band that's doing something really special, and Ghost really presented their songs in such a great way. It's brilliant. And again, the other hit that we on that second list there, Year Zero and He Is are just really, really special.
Yeah,
in my opinion, they're so good. Again, you mentioned He Is, it's just amazing, and it's got such a vibe.
So
and live doesn't lose any of it. And having 9 or 10 people on the stage, I mean, seriously, we've said about the sound of the album. It's so good. I love it when someone doesn't scrim. And this is right. How are we going to recreate that to sound as good?
Yeah.
If it needs
as opposed to having it on tapes, they had real singers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's brilliant.
It was spot on. It was so good.
Okay, so that's the set list. We talked through the album. Let's have a look at some of the photos from the gig show we had. There's a brilliant one you've got coming up, and you've got some.
We had the old Mummy Dust coming down.
Yeah.
Can I just mention they ended with Square Hammer, which is one of my favourite songs. And the day after the gig, I actually emailed Planet Rock
Oh,
David,
yeah.
there were 4 50-year-old geezers seeing their first ever Ghost show, and and I actually got on and he played Square Hammer for us on there. Unfortunately, I didn't record it like a bell end, but there you go. And because it wasn't the actual normal DJ, I couldn't go back and listen to it either because he didn't have a recording of it. So,
right.
Do you know what? It all sound better in the memory than it does in real life.
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only song that I thought they shouldn't have played was Enter Sandman. I didn't enjoy that at all.
I was surprised.
Yeah, it just wasn't necessary, was it? Really?
No. You're better than that. I mean, you're not better than Metallica in their prime, but you don't need to do that at this point in your career.
No.
Okay. Well, let's go on to some of the pictures then.
Look at that.
Just that little thing. Absolutely incredible. And I remember that
does look a bit Slipknotty, doesn't it? With
yeah.
I remember the church, the windows being really effective because they lit them from behind so that it looked like proper stained glass windows. And me and Jam, we've already mentioned, we were right at the back, and they didn't have screens. And I didn't think that for a minute. I didn't think, oh God, I wish I could see them close up, because it was such a theatre. It's like Iron Maiden, and I know Tobias is a big fan of Maiden. And if the stage set's big enough, it's entertaining enough.
And you hate screens anyway, don't you, Gav? So
I hate screens as part of the stage set. I don't mind them like Maiden do now when they're kind of set aside. Well, no, Maiden have some on the stage, which I don't like. But if they're separate, I don't mind. But when someone like Wasp, when they're playing in front of their own promo videos, I bloody hate that.
Yeah.
It's too distracting. If I want to watch the video, I'll go home. I want to see you live.
And look at all the hands up. The crowd were loving it. It's really, hopefully it gives an indication of how great the atmosphere was that night.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. They weren't being asked to put their hands up either. People were just really digging it, weren't they? Brilliant. So, should we go on to the next one? Yeah. So it's cool. There's some of the confetti. That's confetti, isn't it? What the mummy does.
Yeah,
that's just confetti there at the moment.
I think when the mummy dust was coming down, I was rolling around on the floor trying to grab some.
As usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some nameless calls.
Then the encore, or the end, right at the end of the show.
Yeah. Brilliant
shot. Looks like the drum road is already packing up.
Yes. So after that gig, there were a couple of things that came next. So, Gab, do you want to just talk about the? Some of you may notice something going on with the logo there.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think there was kind of a discussion about it being very Def Leppard-y, and I think Joe Elliott's always had his finger on the pulse of bands, the scene. He was a big fan of the Struts and was on their album. And obviously a big fan of Ghost as well. And I think it was members of his band that really turned him on to Ghost in the first place. I think it was Phil. So yeah, they've done a pastiche of a Def Leppard logo, and they re-recorded the song with Joe singing most of it. I don't know if he sang all of it. I think that his voice being quite close in sound. So
I've never been able to tell the difference.
No, I can.
However many times I listen to it, I still can't tell it's Joe Elliott.
If it was on the radio and they played the Joe Elliott version, I probably wouldn't notice.
Yeah,
it's, to me, it was kind of pointless because it was so close.
Yeah,
kind of a missed opportunity, but still cool.
Yeah.
And then followed the following year, I guess, with a kind of covers EP. And yeah, I think we all got the vinyl. Yeah. I got 2. I got a gold one and I got a clear vinyl. But I love the imagery on this. I love the fact that it's kind of gone more kind of technical, and the artwork is. I mean, that's another thing with that album we've just been talking about. You get a massive booklet.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
A great expense, I'd assume. Getting someone to do all that artwork and then reproducing it in a massive booklet. No one mentions that, but yeah, it's great value. It's brilliant. And again, the production on this is fantastic. You what?
It's immense. I forgot all about that. It's immense, isn't it?
Yeah,
I forgot.
That's made your night, Jam.
I'd completely forgotten that.
All the lyrics.
Yeah, all the lyrics. Loads of new artwork in there as well.
I was without my Ghost albums for a few months, and I've only recently become reunited. And
anyway, the lead track of this Jesus He Knows Me is a belter.
Yes, it is.
Brilliant cover version.
Absolutely.
I think it's better than the original.
And do you know what? It fits them perfectly, doesn't
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
It fits
of course it does. Yeah.
it? Yeah. It's
Another great video as well.
a really good video. And again, the bass is massively up in the mix. At the beginning, it's heaven when the bass comes in.
The best cover of an Iron Maiden song by any band all time, in my opinion.
There you go. So on that note, go on, Jeff. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I thought it was fantastic. I know that apparently it was almost going to, it's a 6-track, and it was almost, should we do it as an album? No, let's just, which the fact it was a 6-track means, because it wasn't treated as an album, means we get an album sooner, you'd hope, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd think?
Yeah.
I'd have happily had an album. I'd have happily had an album because it's.
Well, we've got a live album coming out soon, haven't we? So that's on the horizon. So
Yeah, they're kind of a soundtrack to their Right Here, Right Now movie.
looking forward to that. Okay, well, look, that's go. So I think, hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn, but 10 out of 10 for the album and 10 out of 10 for the
Definitely.
show.
10 out of 10 from me.
Honestly, if you're not listening, giving them a proper chance, give them a chance because they are great. They're really great fun. Try and take away any preconceptions you may or may not have and give them a go. Okay, right. So let's move on to Tales from the PowerAge Live. A couple of mentions I want to give out now. A huge thank you to Blabbermouth for our video again this week. Really appreciate that. It's really good of you. A huge shout out to Classic Rock Magazine. Again, thanks for sharing our video. It's really good of you. Appreciate it. And a huge shout out to our friends at Planet Rock for sharing our video as well. So that's really cool as well. We love you guys. It's brilliant. So thanks for supporting us. It means the world. And I'm sure it's been shared by many, many other people as well. Mitch as well. Thanks for the comments. Mitch Laffron from Canada.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
He's a great guy. And so what is the live channel here, you ask? Well, this is the channel that we upload a couple of vids from the gigs that we go to. And we go to a lot, by the way. So between us, we pretty much cover everything in terms of the hard rock genre, rock and roll, and even a little bit of bluegrass chucked in. So there's a whole bunch of videos on there. We uploaded one with the mighty Steven Tyler guesting with Black Crows, and that's had 33,000 views in 24 hours. So don't miss out. There's some great stuff on there. So check it out.
Yeah, subscribe to that and subscribe to this. They're different. Thank
They
you.
are. And you'll see the icons when you go into it. So when you go into it, there are 2 icons, and they are defined by different color flying Vs. So check it out. So you can catch us on Facebook, and we've had quite a bit of interaction through that, particularly this week as well. So thanks for that. And that's at Facebook and Tales from the PowerAge. You can catch us on Twitter on TTFTPR. That's a mouthful, but we're on that every day as well. And we surpassed the 2,000 tweets this week, so really pleased about that as well. So that's cool.
Well done us.
And we're online at www.talesfromthepowerage.com. So there's some stuff on about us on there as well. And if you fancy some merch, check it out on Redbubble and look at that phone case. Absolutely phenomenal. And we are in talks about getting some very, very limited merch for the live events that we go to. Watch out for that. So, as we've already mentioned, we'd really appreciate it if you give us a sub. That would be massive for us. Ring the Hell's bell. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll be with you again soon. Take care, guys. See you later.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.